Hi there, today I'm going to be taking you through how you can create a Joiin report pack, a way to group multiple reports, brand them, add logos and customization, and share them with clients and colleagues. To begin this process, we'll head on over to report packs and we'll choose to create a report pack. We can begin by giving our report pack a name, so I'm going to call this Joiin report pack and create our first section. I'm going to leave this one as blank for the moment in time. And now I can begin adding extra content to my report. So I'll add content, I'll add a cover page, which we can customize. So we're going to head on over to this little edit icon. We can choose our orientation and paper size. We can choose our design here. So we've got a couple of selection options. I'm going to choose this split image. We can choose to include our logo that we can upload in our account menu. And then we can choose our background. I'm going to choose this one from the list, and then we can give our report a name. So I'm going to call it Joiin Reports, and then I can give it a tagline as well. So I can call that Monthly Management Accounts. Now we can begin adding content to our report. So I'll begin by adding a P&L from within the report pack menu. So I'm going to add my first row. I can then choose how my report is laid out. So I've got the option of 1, 2, or 3 columns. That will all become clear later. So I'm going to choose the 1 column layout to start with. I can add my first report, and I'm going to choose one of the off-the-shelf P&L reports from this option here, or I can choose one of my custom layouts that I've created previously. Have a look at some of our other videos on layouts for more information on that. I've added my P&L, and Joiin will pre-populate the report with some helpful data for me, which I can then go and customize if I'd like to. So I can head over here and choose this little pencil icon and change the report parameters. So for the time being, I'm going to remove the name of the report. Again, I'll show you why in just a moment. I'm going to change the description of my report. I can choose any of these parameters, but again, I'm going to remove these just for my own visual preferences. I can then decide what companies I'd like to include in the report. For this moment, I'm going to just include Joiin Limited and Saltram. I'm going to select these changes. I can choose our currency. At the moment, I'm going to keep it as British pounds. And then I can decide how my report's laid out. So I'm going to choose to look at last month's data for my preset. I'm going to choose dynamic dates, which will mean that the latest data is added every month. And then I'm going to choose to break my report down by company. I'm also going to choose to include my budget and variance. I'm going to accept those changes. I'm going to choose a total column, and then I'm going to save the changes. I've now got my P&L report in here. I'm going to quickly go and change the layout as well and just change how my naming of my report is displayed. So I'm going to press up here. I can now decide the headline for this report. So I'm just going to call this Profit and Loss. And I'm going to save that one. And that's just my preference there on how I'd like it laid out. I can hover over the reports like so, scroll down and scroll across and see all of the data I'd like on my report. I can also collapse the report with the 3-dot menu up here. But I can also go and customize this report further. I could now go and add a new row underneath this report on the same page, and I'm going to choose this 2-column layout option, choosing equal width columns, and I can add a couple of my KPIs to the report. So first I'm going to choose Add Chart, and I can choose from the pre-built KPI library that Joiin provides. I'm going to go down here and show my revenue versus previous year. I can now go and hover over this one and customize it if I'd like to. Again, I can choose what data is included on this chart. I can also choose to display it against budget or previous period, and I can choose the type of chart I'd like to use. So I'm going to use, in this instance, a donut chart, and I'm going to leave the data as is and also show my legend, which I'm going to display it on the right-hand side just to give me a bit more information there. I could now go and add another chart, And this time I'm going to use one of my custom KPIs that I've created in custom layouts. So I'm going to choose custom KPI. I'm going to select where I'd like to take the data from. I'm going to go into my all KPIs menu that I've created previously and choose to include my net profit margin. And I'm going to choose to include a couple of these different options here. Now that I'm happy with the couple of KPIs that I've added to my report, I'm going to add some text and commentary to this one. So I'm going to add a new row. I'm going to choose again the single column layout. And I can begin adding text. I can manually write my own notes and commentary in here, or I can use Join's AI functionality to do this for me. So again, I'll choose I'd like to analyze this P&L report. I'll come up here and press this /. Now that Join's provided this analysis for me, I've got a couple of options with how I can customize this field. So if I'd like to highlight a particular section to point out its significance, I could choose to come over here and highlight it in one of these colors, like so. Or I can change the color of a particular bit of text, again, like so. Now that I'm happy with the reports that I have in my report pack, and I'm ready to send it out to my client, so I can present using the live link functionality within Joiin and display this on the big screen in the office. Or I can exit this view and download the report to Excel or PDF to email to a colleague. Or I can go back into the report pack menu and I can choose to share this one for a scheduled email, or I can send by email now. That's just a very quick look at Join's report pack functionality. Please do give it a try and let our support team know if you've got any questions or feedback.